getting involved as well. All will become clear a little later. And all that is just a taste of things to come between now and midnight. We're off to Old Trafford, first of all. A big crowd there, and all-ticket crowd as well. And a captive audience at Boundary Park for those who couldn't get tickets. 4,000 Oldham fans watching it in the flesh, a further 2,700 watching on giant screens just a few miles away. Clive Tilsley, the commentator.
Paul Parker versus Rick Holden, one of the big matches within the big match tonight. On the right, the main supply line to Oldham Athletic strike force. On the left, the man Alex Ferguson has detailed to cut it off. The Manchester United manager says Parker is simply the best defender in England. That's why he's moved the former Oldham player Dennis Hu into left back in a defensive shuffle which sees the return of Gary Pallister. Neil Webb is back in the starting lineup too. Webb has set himself a deadline to recover his regular place against a backdrop of continuing interest from Nottingham Forest, so it's a big night for him. So too Oldham. Their long-awaited return to the top flight has been injury-plagued. Richard Jobson is now missing from a defence also shorn of Gunnar Haller on international duty. Full Oldham debuts then for Craig Fleming and Brian Kilcline, and a call-up for David Curry because Ian Marshall is sidelined by a groin strain. Joe Worrell took charge of those epic United Oldham FA Cup semis last year and is the referee again tonight. These are the nights for which Oldham Athletic waited patiently in the second division for 17 long years. Anfield and now Old Trafford, the settings for their first two away games back in the top flight. Nottingham Forest away next Saturday. Welcome to the Super League. And welcome back to the first division for Brian Kilcline at the heart of the Oldham defence. 6 goals in their opening 3 games have signals Oldham's first division intentions. Nobody scored more in the first week of the season, but nobody has scored against Manchester United as yet. Peter Schmeichel has the only clean sheet in the first division. Paul Parker first there ahead of Rick Holden in that key contest. Awkward one for Craig Fleming, which he handled very well for a young man with just 14 minutes of first division experience behind him. Brian Robson, Neil Webb, Paul Ince, Ryan Giggs trying to play McClare in, but Holden back on defensive duty. Robson's header looking for the pace of Giggs again, and that'll be a real struggle of speed between him and Earl Barrett. Kilcline there ahead of Hughes, only as far as Robson. Irwin finding Webb, held off though by Fleming. Robson winning it back from Sharp. Really promising start by Manchester United. Steve Bruce. Space for Neil Webb. 4 waiting inside the penalty area. Steve Bruce is forward here. Important header, under pressure by Snowden. The ball's gone out of play. And Oldham Athletic will have a goal kick and some breathing space. Manchester United crowding in on them in the opening 2 minutes. Earl Barrett, David Curry, Craig Fleming. Robson was sharply in again. Henry's pass deflected via Pallister through to Peter Schmeichel. Snowden losing out to Hughes. Giggs has made a run down the centre. He's played Paul Ince in. McClare beyond him here. Hughes and Giggs waiting. Header away by Snowden only as far as Neil Webb. Plenty of power, packed behind the left-footed shot from Neil Webb. But John Horwath behind it all the way. Webb's shot actually moved a little bit in the air, but Horwath watched it carefully. Lynn Snowden for Oldham. Looking for Sharp, who's got some space down the centre of the field. Forced a little bit wide. Ryan Giggs is back there with him. Sharp played into Neil Adams. Manchester United a little embarrassed on the break then. Neil Adams played in by his former Everton teammate Graham Sharp, who had acres of room in behind the left back. Hughes just holding off the 3 of them this time. Webb, Ince trying to get clear. It's bounced quite kindly for him in the end. Brian McClare in support. 3 now waiting inside the box. Header away by Fleming, only as far as Webb. Good save by Horwood. Did well just to grab it off the toe of Paul Ince, because Neil Webb's shot carried just a bit too much for John Horwood to hold. May have come through the defenders. Horwood did well to keep it out and then to hold on. Now Barrett. Trying to take chances in possession of Barrett, but obviously he runs a risk. Robson on towards Webb. He got round Kilcline and then stumbled. Looks for the referee, but to no avail. A stumble is exactly what the referee felt that it was. Brian Kilcline gives Neil Webb a rather knowing look. Header on by Sharp. Now Holden has got him behind Parker here. Not for long he hasn't. Oldham at least have the throw. Curry, away by Parker. Barrett got a little helping hand then from Hughes. And here goes Ryan Giggs. But Craig Fleming's not short of speed either. Actually played here for his previous club, Halifax Town, in a Rumbelows Cup tie last October, Craig Fleming. Paul Ince, Brian McClare, Neil Webb. McClare's made a good run down the right-hand side and has Hughes and Giggs for company. Webb has now gone outside of him. Robson's inside the box too. And McClare, with all those options, found the chest and not the arm of Craig Fleming. The referee was very clear in his signal. Parker's sliding challenge catching Holden. And have now won a throw in deep in Manchester United territory. Glyn Snowden. Sharp with a header. It's awkward for Schmeichel. And he had a long look at it and decided just to help it on its way. And this is the view that Schmeichel had. And this is why eventually he decided to do the same thing. Rick Holden will take the corner kick. Barrett's in there, but so too Schmeichel. It's almost unfair. He just towers above everybody. Webb, that's a useful ball. McClare has got him behind Kilcline here. Got Ince for support, he's played it in behind him. Mark Hughes maybe, off the line by Henry. Neil Webb. They've got men offside now. And Webb's chance has gone. And he knows he didn't begin to get hold of it. And Nick Henry it was who made the crucial intervention inside of his 6-yard box. Henry across to cover the shot. That was the important one. And then Webb miscued. Coming up to the half-hour mark. Earl Barrett. Sharp again. Knocked down accurately into the path of Holden. Snowden has made the overlapping run, but Parker is in the way. McClare. Trying to scamper clear of Henry. And he really Hughes up with him for the moment. Here is Mark Hughes. He may be all they need. Trying to make the shooting space for himself. And the second attempt. They got a tackle in on Hughes on the edge of the penalty area. But that was when their problem started. Milligan actually teed him up. Graham Sharp has been encouraged by his new manager to hold the ball up. There were times last season when it was almost coming back at the Oldham defence too quickly. Sharp will give them a base camp in their opponent's half of the field. Hughes now running shoulder to shoulder with Barrett. It's so difficult to call those. Highsmith's called a corner. Hughes shading the contest. Earl Barrett disputing the decision in the friendliest possible way. But he now has a corner to think about, and he has Gary Pallister and Steve Bruce to think about too. Not to mention Brian Robson. Header from Ince, hit across bar. Robson trying to set up Ince again. Tackles are good enough. Gary Pallister offside. Both Hughes and McClare won't count. Inch's effort nearly did. And for all the threats that Manchester United posed to Oldham there inside the penalty area, he was maybe the least likely. But Inch stole in to get the first header in, and I don't think Holworth got a hand to it. It hit the bar. So close. Alex Ferguson was desperate to get away to a good start this season. United led the table briefly 4 years ago, and they stayed unbeaten through their first 6 games. But this is their most encouraging opening for him. They've made an encouraging opening to this game. Dennis Irwin, Brian Robson. Webb trying to get there, felt he was pushed. Neither referee nor linesman agree with him. Lynn Snowden was the defender with him, and I do have some sympathy with Neil Webb there. Kerry caught offside from Holden's pass. The ball was in the air for a long time. They were both fighting for position. Well, there's an arm on his shoulder, isn't there? Parker's there. Hughes. A bit too far for Webb. Henry very thinking with the challenge, though. Sharp helping it on. Curry was prowling behind Pallister and forcing the clearance. Today's the 2nd anniversary of Gary Pallister's move from Middlesbrough to Manchester United. I wonder how many of you can remember how much it was. It seemed to be a millstone that would hang around his neck forever, but surprisingly nobody ever mentions it anymore. And it's credit to Pallister. There's his charge for the night, Graham Sharp. Free kick going Oldham's way. Brian Robson has damaged himself in the process. He always wins when you see him clutching elbow or shoulder, but I think all those problems are behind him. Yes, he's all right. Tim McGregor, the physio's made an unnecessary trip. I think Klein was tripped by Hughes, wasn't he? Sharp the target, away by Bruce. The ball from Henry. Holden. Snowden's gone on outside of him. Holden can cross with either foot. Sharp's there. Chance for Kerry maybe. Goalkeeper made it very difficult for him. And I think David Kerry was aware of Peter Schmeichel arriving. How could you be otherwise? But it was a terrific cross by Holden. A terrific header by Sharp. What a strange attempt it was by Schmeichel, but he got the job done. Fleming clear. Sharp somehow winning it in the air again. Pallister. Giggs always looking to come inside and make inroads down the centre of the field. Shoulder to shoulder, said the referee. He's only 9 stone 10, Ryan Giggs. And Craig Fleming was strong enough just to lever him fairly off the ball then. Holden throw. Stoppage time at the end of the first half. And that's enough for the referee. Manchester United have called the tune for the most part. They've certainly come the closest to scoring when Paul Ince's header thudded against John Horwath's crossbar. Neil Webb had a strong penalty appeal turned down too, but Oldham Athletic, based around the aerial power of Graham Sharp, have had their moments in the half. And certainly it's a contest which could still go either way. At the break, it's Manchester United 0, Oldham Athletic 0. Oldham held a half-time lead in every one of their previous 3 First Division games today, but won only one of them. Maybe it's their turn to come strong in the second half. United, of course, haven't been behind in any of theirs so far. Haven't conceded a goal. Oh, the terrific header by Sharp, and here's Curry feeding off him. No support, had to go for goal, and forced the save out of Schmeichel. He had no sort of angle. They'll be happy with a corner really from there. Some meat behind that left-footed shot. Kerry waits. Barrett's forward. It's short to Oldham from Adams. And a little bit long from Oldham back to Adams. Neil Adams, who was a little bit unwell last weekend. Oldham's draw at Boundary Park. To Robson. Parker. Giggs. Away from Snowden. Space for Webb. Hughes and McClare waiting. Still waiting. Robson. Ince to his left. Irwin's forward 2. Ince goes for the shot which was deflated and Horwood did well. Picked up a little bit of pace too as it skidded from the deflection. Paul Ince with the left foot. Deflected off Milligan. John Horworth watched it very carefully. Ryan Giggs. Robson. Webb. McClare to his left. 4 waiting now for a cross from Brian McClare. Paul Ince is there again, headed by Snowden. Might fall for Mark Hughes, charged down by Kilcline, and again. Poked away by Barrett. Oldham survived. But they were stretched there by Brian McClare on the left-hand side. The ball never got through to John Horworth. The men in front of him stood big and stood firm and blocked 2 efforts from Mark Hughes. In control from Hughes. He's played Giggs in here. Great chance for Ryan Giggs. And Horworth was up on top of him so quickly and made a splendid save. Ryan Giggs, who was credited with the winner here against Manchester City at the end of last season, looking for his second. Horworth, though, so sharply off his line, spread himself, and it looks as if there was an offside flag up anyway. Certainly Oldham have a kick inside the 6-yard box. Giggs seemed to jump into the back of Oldham then. Parker's found McClare. Hughes has made a forward run. McClare instead bringing Dennis Irwin into it. Hughes has now joined Webb on the edge of the penalty area. McClare's in there too, a little quick meant for Hughes. Clever idea. Just lack for execution. David Curry meanwhile for Oldham. Splendid uncertainty about this game at the moment. Curry finding Sharp. Curry! Missing ground shot. Just whistled wide of Schmeichel and his post. David Curry's looking so much sharper this season. He's really settled down now to life at Oldham. And again feeding off Sharp. Turned down a move to Blackburn Rovers in March to fight for his place. And started a bit of a trend among centre forwards. Oh, the huge crowd here at Old Trafford. Plenty more watching on from afar at Boundary Park. Hughes. McClare making the run beyond Snowden. He's got there first two. Now is he held down? Linesman right on the spot. Just helping Joe Worrell make his mind up. Free kick to Manchester United. I think there's a little tuck back there. Oh yes, not half. What, me? Free kick which Neil Webb takes. Hughes is beyond the far post, and Sharp doing his work inside the Oldham 6-yard box this time. Graham Sharp back doing a spot of work on behalf of his defence, and there's a spot more to do. Manchester United have another corner. Gary Pallister is still forward. Corner which Dennis Irwin would take. Robson trying to get there, off Kilcline towards Pallister, appeals for handball. Knocked away again by Sharp. Appeals from the terraces rather than from the pitch. Headed this time by Milligan. Pallister stretching out one of the longest legs in football and finding McClare, and here's Dennis Irwin. Now how's his left foot? It's the worst cross in the world, but Rick Holden was first to it. It's awkward for Irwin when he gets forward down that side, because he is naturally right-footed, and he's such a telling cross of the ball with his right foot. Robson retaining possession. Pallister. Headed by Kilcline. Away by Adams. Holden helping it on. Steve Bruce. Parker. Hughes. Got it back. Oh, he's lost it again. Now he's got it back again. Smart Hughes all over, isn't it? Webb. In towards Giggs. Oh, he was looking just to place it too, wasn't he? It was a cute header. Wasn't cute enough because in the end he directed it straight out Horworth, but that is what he was looking to do, just angle it beyond the goalkeeper. Manchester United are preparing to bring on Clayton Blackmore. Paul Ince is the man leaving the field. Ince, who has been nursing a foot injury just recently. Snowden forward. Nick Henry. Will he ever stop running? He's won himself a corner. No, he hasn't. I think even Steve Bruce is a wee bit surprised about that. Nick Henry's amazed. Blackmore. Ran through Milligan's challenge. Ground shot of some power, but not enough to defeat John Horworth. Clayton Blackmore is just about the last man that you want to see bearing down on your goal there, because he does strike the ball so cleanly. Parker. McClare hunting. Little nudge to Ryan Giggs. Hughes is waiting in the middle. Giggs has made the space beautifully. Ooh, and he almost linked up with McClare. Vital header by Kilcline. Irwin's got it back. It was held back by Neil Adams. Ryan Kilcline was just big enough then. Down to the wire for everyone involved. Approaching the last 5 minutes. Irwin's free kick. Headed by Kilcline again. Neil Webb. Checks there, Brian McClare. Just over 5 minutes remaining, and that looks like the winner. Horworth beaten at last. Joy at last for Manchester United, thanks to Brian McClare's first goal of the season. Oldham thought they cleared the danger, but Neil Webb acrobatically drove the ball back across the face of goal, and McClare was jolly on the spot. Follow McClare, following the ball, because Webb, out of hope as much as anything, pulled it back across the face of goal. McClare reacted brilliantly. They had a share of it for 85 minutes. Kane wrestling possession for Adams. In towards Graham Sharp. Might come to Rick Holden. There appeals for handball anyway. Carries it, headed it into the net, and the linesman's flagging. And I think it's the handball which will rule out the goal. It certainly doesn't stand. There may have been an offside. There, by Holden. There may have been offside too. Curry knocked it in, but the flag was long up. Adams' cross. Sharp, who else going in? That's where it struck Curry. Schmeichel kept him out. He didn't keep Curry out, but the linesman's flag, you can see it did. Well, so many First Division games come down to a decision here and a decision there. It's going to be that sort of championship race. But the linesman did flag early. Barrett's header. Away by Milligan. Kane. Snowden. It's early days, but Manchester United are showing championship form. Brian McClare's goal wins it. 10 points out of 12 for Alex Ferguson. No goals conceded. Cause enough for high optimism at Old Trafford. They left it late, very late. McClare's header came with just 5 minutes to spare. Oldham are tasting the high life, but beaten at Anfield, now beaten at Old Trafford. It's been a bittersweet return to the big time for them, particularly in view of that late disallowed goal. But the big prize is beckoning Manchester United again. They're unbeaten. Their goalkeeper is unbeaten. They've beaten Oldham by 1-0.
Yes, a very good finish for United, but a controversial finish as far as Oldham are concerned. Philosophical or not? Let's find out.
We feel that we've come to Anfield and now Old Trafford, lost by the odd goal twice, and really we've not been inferior in either game.
The headlines are going to revolve around the final minute and the disallowed goal.
Yeah, the lads were disappointed. They didn't know why it was disallowed. Somebody said they thought the linesman was muttering about offside, but I think the replay would show there was no offside involved.
The only thing I can think is that once I've had the initial shot and my own momentum's carried me through and Dave's put it in that I'm offside then.
Well, you're wrong, because the flag was already up there, and I think it might be handball against you.
No, I didn't have well, I didn't deliver the handball anyway. It's such a bouncy ball, it's just struck me on the chest and it's dropped nicely. I've had a shot. Keeper's made a great save, so. And then, well, you know, I mean, we're not going to complain because it's over now, so